You're listening to the Full and Thriving Podcast, a place where courageous women come to break free from food obsession, heal their relationship with their body, and strive to live a life that's present, lighthearted, and meaningful. If you're listening, my wish is that this podcast serves as a catalyst that inspires you to nourish your body, nurture your mind, and energize your spirit. I'm your host, Meg McCabe, a certified life coach and eating disorder recovery coach with a PhD in having a good time. Just kidding about that last part. Anyway, thank you so much for listening and enjoy the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the show. Today, before I dive into the content, I just wanted to give you all a little bit of an update about where I am in life, how things are going for me. I am heading off to New York City tomorrow to check the apartment I have my eyes set on that I shared about in the last episode. So I will let you know how that goes. I'm super excited. I'm staying with one of my college friends in that neighborhood, and I'm just going to reconnect with that part of New York for the weekend and see if it's the same. I know everything has really changed a lot since the pandemic, so fingers crossed it still has the same magic that I felt a few years ago, but honestly, I'm also open to seeing how things have changed altogether and seeing if that's a good fit for my life right now. Beyond my New York City adventures that I'm embarking on, I also had a amazing morning recording some YouTube content with Anne-Claire Young J. Chalk. She is a eating disorder recovery coach, and she is the co-founder of the Recovery Collective. And we started a YouTube channel a few weeks back, and we have 4 or 5-ish episodes published up there at this point, and we've been recording pretty consistently, which I'm already so proud of. And it's really fun to meet with Anne-Claire every week, record some videos, have a good time, and then we obviously have those edited and we post them weekly. So if you haven't checked out the YouTube channel, definitely go check that out because we have a lot of fun over there. It's a different vibe than the podcast itself. And so when you come to the podcast, I expect, hope to learn about recovery, get some tips and tools. And we do similar things over there, but it's also very conversational. And I can imagine it being kind of like a comfort channel for a lot of people, like tuning into a few of your recovery buddies just having a chat. So if you want more of a relaxed chit-chat, talk show vibe content related to recovery, I think you're going to love our YouTube channel, and it's called The Meg and Anne-Claire Show. So we didn't get too creative with the name, but it kind of gets straight to the point, and it's really fun actually because I look forward to these now. I was so excited. Yesterday was a Tuesday night, and I could not wait for Wednesday because that meant recording another show with Anne-Claire. And today we talked a little bit about going to restaurants and the differences between going to a restaurant when you are in an eating disorder versus how everything transforms and how that experience transforms once you're recovered. So that was really cool. And I also shared some date updates in that video. That one's going to be coming out in about 2 weeks. So if you want to hear more about my dating life that has ups and downs, definitely go check out the channel. But now I'm just going on and on. So I'm going to head on over to my notes because I have planned content for today too. And for those of you who are new here, I am the founder of the Recovery Collective, and we are opening our membership doors on September 20th, which is less than a week away at this point. Actually, by the time you listen to this, the doors will be open and you will be able to sign up immediately. So definitely go check that out. We only open the doors 3 times per year for about 10 days at a time. So make sure you catch that window because this is the only time you can really do that for a while. But yes, today I wanted to share with you my favorite things about the Recovery Collective. For those of you who don't know, the Recovery Collective is an online virtual eating disorder recovery community that's a membership based model that I created in 2020. And we ended up launching the collective in early 2021. And honestly, the Recovery Collective was a product of being in COVID-19 lockdown and feeling super isolated myself and seeing my clients feel even more isolated and disconnected from everyone more than ever before. And I had witnessed the power of online community by lightly connecting with folks on Instagram, although Instagram can be a blessing or a curse in recovery, depending on what your feed looks like. But I did see the power of community through Instagram because I felt like that was the place I could connect with people who had eating disorders. But I knew that while there's so much beauty to the recovery communities on Instagram, there's also many blurred lines and many unsafe accounts that you can quickly stumble into. So I knew that there was this gap where people who have eating disorders are craving connection, craving community, but they're only getting it through Instagram, which is pretty limited and also pretty risky. So I wanted to create something that was safe and online where you can meet people from all over the world. And I wanted to create something accessible and affordable because I know how expensive treatment can get, especially in the United States. So this idea of an online membership focused on healing together really became my mission during COVID. And I think that's a question people are going to ask everyone years and years down the road. Like, where were you during 9/11? Or where were you when Michael Jackson died? Or it's kind of like, where were you and what were you doing during COVID lockdown? Well, I was building the Recovery Collective. And 2 years later, this community is truly thriving. We have approximately 80 members from all over the world. I'm talking several different countries, multiple continents. And today I wanted to share my favorite parts of the community with you because it's truly incredible. I'm really proud of it. And I love everything about it. Being able to coach my clients one-on-one is something that brings so much joy to my life. However, in addition to one-on-one coaching, being able to facilitate groups and also facilitate connection and friendship building and breaking free from isolation, that really makes my heart sing. And that's why I love this community so much. So my first thing that I love about the Recovery Collective, and mind you, I have 6 things listed here. The first thing I love, and this is hands down the most important thing about the community, are the people. Like I said, we have people from all over. We're talking California, Australia, Germany, New York, Colorado, Italy, Mexico, all over the place. And after coming to sessions regularly, we all get to know each other through sharing and opening up on calls and in the Facebook group. So when I run group coaching and our monthly check-in call, I intentionally leave a ton of space for sharing so people can build that connection between themselves. And I find connection is incredibly healing, whether that's connecting on recovery struggles or sharing a laugh together over a funny TikTok or relating to someone during an icebreaker. And the beautiful thing is that everyone brings their own personality to the table. And together, our personalities create a really special collective personality. And the greatest quality that the people share in this group, I would say, is the genuine care for each other and for helping each other throughout their recovery. So when someone asks a question or shares inside the Facebook group something meaningful to them, the comment section seriously lights up with members sharing their own wisdom, knowledge, recommendations, and ideas. And I'll tell you, over the summer, we got to meet some of the members in person at our retreat in Portugal, which is officially happening next year, by the way, again. But being able to build this online friendship with individuals from all over the world and then meet together in Portugal. Of course, I'm sending love to those who could not make it this year, but to meet those who were there was truly special and life-changing for me. So the people are my favorite part of the collective, and I'm sure that when and if you join, you will find someone in there who touches your life, who potentially could be a lifelong friend. Anyway, my second favorite part about the Recovery Collective is that it is a safe place to go for those who are hoping to recover. And I'm really proud of how we've created a culture of respect and encouragement that's focused on healing inside the community. And this includes honoring each other's difficult emotions and processing that together when appropriate, while also celebrating our wins, encouraging each other, and holding each other accountable to showing up and healing as best as we can. And along the lines of safety, before every group session, I remind everyone of the guidelines for sharing. So for instance, we do not allow people to speak about certain specific numbers, like how much they weigh or their calories on their meal plan. And we also ask people to avoid sharing specific eating disorder behaviors inside our discussion. Sometimes we talk about behaviors in a general sense, but we're not asking people to dive deep into that because we know it can be potentially very triggering. We set a culture of safety by setting these guidelines. And even when people post on the Facebook group, myself or Anne-Claire read the posts first to make sure they follow our guidelines and that they are non-triggering. And of course, we cannot control everyone's experiences and triggers within inside the group because that's different for everyone. But we know generally how to keep the place as safe as possible. Okay, so this brings me to my third favorite part about the Recovery Collective, and it kind of connects to what I was just saying, and that is the community is a non-judgmental space. If you look at our recent batch of testimonials from this year, which are currently on the website, a common theme among them is that the Recovery Collective is truly a non-judgmental environment. And when a member arrives, they can share what they're going through or what's on their mind, and it's met by our other members with love, understanding, and acceptance. And I think in general, many folks with eating disorders have gentle souls, and it's normal for these individuals, myself as well, worry about what other people think about them. I know that many people listening right now might be afraid to join the collective because they're afraid of meeting a bunch of people on the internet they don't know, or maybe they have a little bit of social anxiety, or maybe they've never spoken to anyone about their eating disorder before, and they're worried about how that's going to be received. And honestly, the cool part about joining the collective is that you don't have to explain your eating disorder to anyone, and you don't have to educate the members on what it's like to have an eating disorder. Everyone there already knows that you have an eating disorder, first of all, because you're in the group. And secondly, these individuals can already relate to you, at least in a small way, or maybe in a major way. When you join the community, you don't have to spend all that emotional energy stressing out about how you're going to be received, we're going to meet you with open arms. And coming to a community where it's non-judgmental really helps you feel comfortable. And it can be daunting to share your thoughts with others, especially about something so vulnerable like your eating disorder. And it can also be vulnerable to express your emotions. However, we have overwhelming feedback that the space provides that non-judgmental support that individuals need to heal. The fourth thing that I absolutely love about the Recovery Collective is that we have peer mentors. Yay! Okay, so we have peer mentors, and in 2022, we added this brand new program within the collective because in the first year, we noticed that many members emerged as leaders inside the community, and many were reaching a stable place in their recoveries and wanted to step up in the community as a leader. So that, in addition to the fact that we also found that during the first year, while several new members joined, many were nervous to come to group calls, and I totally get it. It's tough to talk about your eating disorder to people online. So to encourage new members to start coming to calls right away, we created the Peer Mentor Program. Now, when a new member joins, they actually connect to our peer mentors first, one-on-one, to get to know them and ask any questions they have about the community, learn how to connect to our content library, and also join our Zoom calls if they have some tech questions. And honestly, adding this peer mentor program was a game changer because it had an immediate change on participation levels on our group calls, and it also immediately eased the nerves of new members when they had that initial welcome call with the mentors. Also, our mentors who are trained host 2 hours of peer support each month that is unrecorded. So if you want to share something with the community privately in a non-recorded group setting, you can do so at these 2 peer support meetings every single month. So that's just a huge piece. I know that when I was going through recovery, I had nobody to talk to about my eating disorder, and I definitely didn't know anyone else who was going through the struggle who I could have open, honest conversations about recovery with. And so that's why we have these peer mentors here, because they are in a good place in their recovery. They're maintaining a strong place. They're trained. They're also veteran members in the group, so they can really show you the ropes. And I promise you, you're going to feel very welcomed when you sign up and have your meeting with them. Okay, my 5th favorite thing about the Recovery Collective is definitely the guest speakers. And joining the Recovery Collective has many perks, but one that I'm the most excited about is the guest speaker lineup that we put together for 2022. And in fact, in October, the lovely and incredibly intelligent and talented Dr. Jennifer Gaudiani will be giving a private presentation to our members on the topic Sick Enough and the Medical Complications of Eating Disorders. And many of you listening probably know that Dr. G is highly accomplished and well known in our field for authoring the book Sick Enough, and it is truly exciting to have her supporting the community this year. And honestly, I just can't wait for that talk. She's giving it on October 3rd. So when you sign up, get ready because you got to mark your calendar for that. We also have some other major game changers in the eating disorder space supporting this group. For instance, in July, we had Carolyn Costin join us as a guest speaker. She's actually been a guest speaker 2 years in a row now, and she is a famous eating disorder clinician and author of the 8 Keys to Recovering from an Eating Disorder book. So, I'm just so proud of the people who have come forward to support this community. Other guests who you might know and who we love include Mia Finlay from Beyond Body Coaching, and she also has a brilliant YouTube channel. Kate Noel from the Take the Cake podcast, Christina Johnson, who is the Encouraging Dietitian on Instagram, Ariana Rodriguez, who is a dietitian on Instagram through Embody Health London, and she is also really amazing on TikTok. William Hornby, who is an activist and influencer, and honestly, the list goes on. We have a variety of folks inside this community who our members get to learn from directly, so it's really special, and every single month we invite someone new to teach our group about recovery. And last but not least, my final favorite thing, although the list could go on forever, honestly, is the content. Each month, our members get access to approximately 11 and a half to 12 hours of group calls and live streams that are all recorded and stored on a content library to be viewed anytime, as often as they want. And at this point, when you join the Recovery Collective, you have access to all of the 2022 recorded calls thus far. So don't worry, I know you'd be joining in the fall if you join on September 20th, but you get access to all of the previous recordings that people who joined in January did not have. So think of it as an advantage. You get this huge recovery library of content. This means you're not just purchasing live sessions when you join, you're kind of getting a mini recovery Netflix of videos and content to watch at your leisure, especially if you can't make the sessions in person. To give you an idea of the sessions, each month we have group coaching, gentle yoga class with Anne Claire. We have Nourish and Learn sessions with Talia Sicelle from TC Nutrition. And actually, if you listen to last week's episode on the Raves model, Talia was the guest. So if you want to get to know Talia, just re-listen to last week's episode. But Talia is clearly amazing, and she will actually host cook-alongs and answer nutrition questions based on her eating disorder dietitian background. So that's really helpful. We also have meditation and journaling sessions twice a month. We have peer support twice a month. We also have a family check-in call, which is like our little town hall meeting. Like we get together, we talk about everything we learned that month, takeaways, and then we have announcements and feedback. And finally, we have those guest presentations that I just was sharing with you all about. So we wanted to let you know also that we are adding a new session to the community. We're going to see how it goes, but we're having a self-care support session this fall. We're starting this up to be a monthly thing, and that's going to be essentially led by members of the community, where they come to the group and share maybe a craft or a coping skill or a grounding technique or something they do to treat themselves, or the list goes on. But, you know, for instance, an example is one of our members might teach the members how to knit, because knitting's a very good coping skill and it's a grounding practice in recovery. So that's something we're adding that's going to be new, and I think it will be really fun because it's going to be a little bit more informal, relaxed, more of a get to know you as a human connection opportunity than let's talk about recovery all the time, which, hey, I'm all for talking about recovery all the time. That's the main goal of the group. But of course, we're there to just build authentic connection as well. Okay. Those are my 6 favorite things about the Recovery Collective: the people, the safe environment, the fact that it's non-judgmental, the fact that we have peer mentors, the guest speaker lineup, and of course, all of the content that our members obtain just by joining. So, as a reminder, the Recovery Collective is opening its doors between September 20th and October 1st. And we are seriously ready for you to join. And you might feel scared because it's vulnerable to join a community and talk about this stuff, but connection is imperative to healing and breaking free from your eating disorder. If you're curious about how the community can impact your recovery, definitely check out my recent solo show, which is episode 74, Why Joining a Community Will Benefit Your Recovery. That one was really good, and I think we have some interesting points in there. Remember, most likely, we can all look back and see how we felt disconnected from others and ourselves when our eating disorders started, right? I can look back in high school and just feel like, remember that I felt disconnected from my peers, disconnected from myself, and disconnection is a risk factor for developing an eating disorder. And once the eating disorder is there, the behaviors pull you further away from friends and family through shame and secrecy. So it's kind of a terrible cycle where the deeper you get into your eating disorder, the more isolated you are, the more you use behaviors, the more shame you feel, the more isolated you are. So if you're not careful, the ED can intensify your feelings of disconnection. And so, if disconnection can be one of the root causes of your eating disorder, that means that connection is a part of healing your eating disorder. It is a part of your recovery puzzle, and it might just be the piece of the puzzle that's been missing. I know many of you have your own therapists, your dietitians, and I gotta say, the Recovery Collective is a really good adjunct to your recovery treatment plan. It's not a form of treatment, FYI, but it's a great add-on. It's a great way to recharge those recovery batteries by connecting with the community. So joining a community like the Recovery Collective will help you get to a better place. And I really look forward to seeing you. And before I let you go, I just want to remind you, check out the show notes or go to recoverycollective.mykajabi.com to sign up because doors are open and we're currently welcoming in new members. So thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you next time on the next episode of Full and Thriving. Have a beautiful day.